Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to my live stream. Welcome. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andrei Lefebvre. I am a commercial fleet manager at Twenty Hills Nissan. And we're going to talk about a couple of things today, so please repost, like, and don't go away. We have a full live stream. There are two news stories we're going to look at, and we're going to look at some of the interesting problems that American press brings up about our industry, auto industry. The first one that you can see up there, that's from Tampa Bay Times. Distracted walking researcher uh, pins rise in campus pedestrian accidents to cell phones. Actually, Nissan made a very funny commercial about this fact. But let's look at the story. Uh, excuse me. Hey, Rachel, can I call you back? I'm doing a live stream. Okay, perfect. See you in a little bit. Bye bye. Well, anyways, so this is the first. This is the first story. This is from Tampa Bay Times. This is from earlier this year. What is it? 6/6/2019, June 6, 2019. Distracted walking. Researcher pins rise in campus pedestrian accidents to cell phones. Um, so let's read some of this story. On the sprawling Tampa campus of the University of South Florida, students can't get enough writing, at least on their smartphones. Students can't get, excuse me, students can't get enough reading, at least on their smartphones. Many walk the pathways with their heads down, bent into the world of social media. They tend to stop and check the signals at the intersection, but some keep their eyes fixed on their gadgets while they are in the crosswalk. Sometimes I look, sometimes I don't, said Sarah Nuzzi. I'm not going to read the rest of it. If you want, you can find it at Tampa Bay Times. Distracted walking researcher pins rise in campus pedestrian accidents to cell phones. Well, Nissan made a funny commercial about that, so enjoy.
This is protection in a world of distraction. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility.
Yeah, that was a hell of a commercial on the subject. Very, very interesting one. Uh, let's see. The second story is a little bit more involved. The second story is from Wall Street Journal. A 45,000 loan for a 27,000 ride. More borrowers are going underwater on car loans. Uh, Let me read you a couple of paragraphs. This is from November 9 of this year, just a few days ago. John Schreckler took a loan to buy a car in 2017. Then he took another, and then another. In 2 years, the 40-year-old electrician signed up for four auto loans, each time trading in the previous car and rolling the unpaid balance into the next loan. He recently bought a 27,000 Jeep Cherokee with 45,000 loan from Ally Financial. Consumers, salespeople, and lenders are treating cars a lot like houses during the last financial crisis by piling on debt to such a degree that it often exceeds the car value. This phenomenon, referred to as negative equity or being underwater, can leave car owners trapped. Some 33% of people who traded in cars to buy new ones in the first 9 months of 2019 had negative equity, compared with 28% 5 years ago and 19% a decade ago, according to Car Shop inside Edmonds. Those borrowers owed about 5,000 on average after they traded in their cars before taking in new loans. 5 years ago, the average was about 4,000. Rising car prices have exacerbated an affordability gap that is increasingly getting filled with auto debt. Easy lending standards are perpetuating the cycle, with lenders routinely making car loans with low or no down payments that can last 7 years or longer. Let me stop here. Look it up in the Wall Street Journal. Uh, the uh, the headline is a 45,000 loan for 27,000. Right. More borrowers are going underwater on car loans. It's an interesting story. I have a couple of issues with it, and I have an answer to it. The answer to it is 2019 Nissan Sentra. But before I get into it, why it is an answer to somebody being upside down or in negative equity or underwater. I think it's an East Coast term. Underwater on the West Coast, I think we use the term upside down. But be that as it may, the reason being is that some of the fault lies with the salespeople who put people in the wrong cars. Years back, and I'm talking about a generation and a half ago, uh, if you had somebody with problem credit, you had somebody who was in negative equity on trading, used car was the way to go because there was a great cleavage, great difference in prices between new and used cars. The cars depreciated quicker. So you could have a 1 or 2 year old used car, and the difference between a new car of the same model and a used car could be 30, 40%. So it made sense to put somebody in the older car to make up the negative equity. Also, back then, the new cars did not have huge rebates. Most of the cars did not have rebates, period, in the 80s. The rebates really started going on strong in the 90s. And of course, after 9/11, 0% came out, and the rebates started going through the roof. So, even though unlike myself, most of us have not been in business back then, the mentality is still there. If you have somebody with a problem trade, if somebody with a problem credit, let's look at used cars. Nissan Sentra, I disagree with that. The reason is that Nissan Sentra is a perfect example. It has so much so much support from the factory that we can actually sell it below dealer invoice. If somebody has negative equity, even we apply it, we would be within the normal guidelines. We're not going to have somebody $5,000-6,000 inverted 2 or 3 years after it, because again, there's a dealer catch. Sentras don't depreciate very much. They have great dealer cash. They're perfect for people who not only who are upside down in their trade with negative equity, they're perfect for people with bad credit. Now, I want to say a few things about people with bad credit. Uh, excuse me. By the way, hi Ruben. Hi Dave. Welcome to my live stream. I want to say a few things about bad credit. People have bad credit. It's not a reflection of their character. I mean, I personally have an issue with the way the credit bureaus report it, but my opinion does not matter. I work within the system. The system works in the following way: that we have three credit reporting bureaus, and they decide what interest rate you buy and what you're qualified for. I think it's tremendously unfair, but again, it's my personal opinion. Business wise, I just make sure that my customers get financed. Now, Seen a big change within probably last 10 years, less than that even. Used to be you maintain a good relationship with a buyer, a personal relationship, and if you needed to an exception on somebody's with bad credit, you just call that person, and because of your friendship with them or good working relationship, they would make an exception. Most of the banks now use algorithm, the artificial intelligence. You can't call artificial intelligence and ask our AI for an exception. So actually, our job became a lot more interesting. I'm not that brainy. Okay, there are limitations to what I can do. I know what I can do, and I know what I cannot do. But I know a lot of very brainy finance directors, and I make sure that I talk to them often to see which banks, how they buy paper. I'm not proposing to do anything illegal, immoral, or fattening. Simply, we need to understand the way the algorithms work. Banks don't publish it and they change it often. But if you structure the right deal or the right car, with people with in their 400s and 500s, I'm not even talking about people above 600, you can get them bought sometimes without proof of income. If you have anybody like that, or you yourself fall in that category, this is my phone number up there, or this is my phone number and my email address up there. Get in touch with me. Let me take a look at everything. If you're a broker, especially if you're a credit union broker, and you have somebody that your credit union have turned down, uh, please give me a call. Please give me a call. What's the worst going to happen? We're going to make a deal. Anyways, I gotta go. My phone is beginning to ring off the hood, and I can hear that I'm being text. So I will see you guys maybe even tomorrow if I have time. Bye bye.